One mini world, one creation dream.
So welcome to the class number 3. We are going to start, class number 4. I completely forgot about the numbers. But yes, it's the class number 4. This is the last class of this week. We are going to have a small recap. This one is going to be very small. We are going to start by creating the basic objects for the game, part 2. We are going to do today the volcanic eruption, the fire, and the pledge, okay? So, I need you to go to Developer Tools when you reach this part, and you are going to move to Triggers again, okay? But at the last class, what we did, it was first to create the basic systems, and also we create this one that was like just a test trigger, okay? Remember that it was to allow you to test your method and see if your method was working, okay? This was just a test, it was the last trigger that we create, okay? What you are going to do this time, okay? We are going to start by deleting the last 2 actions of it, okay? Or all the actions. What we are going to do with this one is that we are going to rename it, guys. So this one, the test one that we create the last class, you are going to name it as store time, okay guys? That's very important, and welcome Kenzie, I see that you are coming right now. Welcome Chang. Hi, Hojembut, welcome to the class. Okay guys, so this one that is store time, you are going to move it, okay? You are going to rearrange that one and you are going to put it over game ini, okay? That's very important. And what is going to do this one, okay? Our map is going to run like this. First, we are going to have a time frame to actually buy items into the store. Then we are going to have around 15 seconds to allow the players to move around and to get in the right position. And right after that, we are going to start running the different disasters. So this is going to be the first one, the started one. And that's very important. And we will need to keep it like it is. So we are going to start with the next thing, okay? Once you are in the actual script, in this one, what you are going to do is that you already have the operate trigger here. The countdown, you are going to change it, and you are going to place enough time for the players to get your items, okay? So most of the times in your maps, if you are developers, you are going to sell some things. If you play my game in my map, you can get some extra lives, you can get some extra items that are going to allow you to heal yourself and do different things. So I always give my players 1 minute to start the game at the beginning. I don't want it to use more because it's going to be too much, unless it's going to be too hurry for the players. So the amount of time is going to be 60 seconds. Be sure that the repeater is false. Then we need to let the players know that actually that is happening. And how you're going to do that? That's very easy, guys. The only thing that you need to do is to click on timer, and on here you are going to display a timer panel. Probably in your language is going to be a little bit different, okay guys? Alright, so in the timer you are going to hit again the variable. Remember that we create a variable that was store time. This store time is going to be shown to all the players, guys. And finally you are going to put on here on character screen something simple. I use colors for this one. It's something that I love to do. And I use uppercase just to make more impact in the players. So you can use time to buy or store time. Wherever you want is okay. Be sure that at the end you place a space, because with that your players are going to see the text and the space and then the number. If you don't place a space, the number is going to be just together with the text and it's going to be a little bit confusing, okay? Now, with that, you're already done with the first trigger, okay? That is going to be the store time, alright? So now, another important thing, guys, remember that last class we create also the spawner for the players. Okay, so on here we also have like, and you already have this one, okay? Don't create it again, you already have it. What we did is create the same trigger here. We execute that one, okay? that was the spawn pliers. Of course, I just place in here just to get more order. Now we are going to create a couple of things more. First, we are going to create something that I always advise you to do, guys. And is if you really want to save time and want your game to run faster, create a trigger that deletes all the previous effects, okay? Guys, you are going to create a new trigger in basic system. The trigger name is going to be clean effects, okay? For the action, you are going to go here in special effect, and you are going to select special effect is created on random player, guys, okay? So remember, you are not going to use the others, just special effect is created in random player, okay? Now, for the actions, you are not going to put any kind of condition. The actions are going to be the next one. You are going to hit on here on timer, and you are going to hit waiting time, okay? When you get waiting time, you are going to get this new screen, and you are going to pause 1 second the action, okay? So just 1 second, no more time, because if you keep it like 10 seconds, it's going to take more space in your inventory, in your actual memory for the effects, and we don't want that. And finally, you are going to add a new action. The action is going to be special effect, delete special effect on pliers, that's it. Okay, guys, and pliers on trigger event, and type of event on the title of a special effect on the event. That's it, guys. That's our our first trigger of the class. It's very simple. It's something that is going to clean out effects automatically, so you don't have to worry for that. Now, another important thing is that for a lot of our disasters, we are going to use a trick. And the trick is very easy. What we are going to do is to know if the player is inside a construction or not. And how do you do that? Okay, guys? It's very simple. Imagine that this is the floor of MiniWorld, okay? What we do is to create, for saying like this, a laser that is going to be just shoot it upwards, and is going to tell us what is going to be the block that is over the player, the first block that the player hits. So with that, we will be able to do some effects like the earthquake inside the game. You know, when you are inside a construction, the earthquake is going to destroy the blocks and it's going to make some blocks falling. Or as an example, we will be able to do the acid rain trigger, okay? We are going to use that a lot, so we are going to create that one, okay? For create that one, you are going to go here in your basic systems, okay? Sorry, it's not this one, it's this one. And remember, you are going to create a new one. The name for this script is going to be roof block, okay? Literally, it's going to tell us which one is in the block that is over the player, the most closest one, okay? All right, so what is going to happen with this one, okay? And also, don't forget, and here I'm going to create also the other one, but it's just for me to have the information, okay? I also create a remove effects, okay? But what it's going to do the roof block, okay? For the roof block that I got it here already, you are going to add a new event. The event is going to be player, and you are going to hit player moving, okay? That's going to detect when a player moves one block away. Why we use this one and not a loop? Because this one is going to take a lot less memory than as an example, the loop one. Because the loop one is going to execute every single tick. That means that in a second it's going to execute a lot of times. So, very important, guys, something that we need to be sure with is that this block only works when the start time is already end. So you are going to add a new condition, you are going to add numerical comparison, and when you get to numerical comparison, you are going to add the first one as a function library and timer time. On timer time, you are going to select a stored time, that is, we already create that one, and that one needs to be equals to 0, guys, okay? That's the only condition, and then we are going to set up a block, okay? So this one is very easy, guys. You are going to add an action, you are going to select assigned, and you are going to assign block type setup, okay, guys? Block type setup is going to be our block. All right, when we hit block type setup, you are going to select here, the next thing, you are going to select function, and player's private variable. Okay, guys? Remember, a private variable is something that works for players. Each player is going to have a different value, and a global variable is something that works for all the map at the same time. Okay, so it's very important that this is a private variable, because each player is going to be standing on the different blocks on the top of that head. Okay, so on here, when you select variable library, you are going to create a new one, and you are going to name it as a roofed block. Okay, guys? As a roof block, that's going to tell us which one is the block over the head of the player, okay? Alright, so now the second one, it's the part that is tricky, and with this we are going to do the next thing. You are going to go to function library, and you are going to select block type hit by array, okay? What it's going to do is to create the laser that I tell you. It's just an array that is going to go in the direction that you are going to tell to the game, and it's going to tell you which block is the first one that is going to hit. So on here, you are going to say that says start with, okay? And we are going to start with the different things. First, you are not going to place player location, because if you place player location, it's going to detect the flurry, okay? We are going to have to do the next thing. We have to detect the player actual location and one block over it, okay? So I'm going to tell you from zero, because this is very confusing. What you are going to do is that on here, you are going to have like different options. On here, you are going to select function library, okay? You are going to select on here location offset original location changes, okay? Not this one, just this one, okay? And you are going to see this new interface, okay? Now you are going to select the location. The location is going to be player location or independent location, okay? That's it. That's going to tell us where the player is moving with, okay? And now you are going to select on here the different things. So this works in the next way. When you select a location offset, is going to move the location that you actually are going to select a little bit, okay? So you only have to move these three numbers. The first number is east-west, and the second number is from the bottom to the top. That means the height, the altitude. And the third one is from north to south, okay? So the only thing that we are going to change is this one, the one that says from the bottom to the top, or the altitude, and we are going to place the number 1. On here, on project, you are going to tell 10 blocks. So we are going to make the player search for a roof 10 at max 10 blocks, okay? And in the direction, we are going to select up, okay, guys? With this, we have set up this variable, and then we are going to do another trick. I don't know, guys, if you have noticed this, but when you are in MiniWorld and you open like a crafting menu or a store, the countdown on the top is going to completely delete, okay? It's going to disappear. And that is a little bit very upset, because sometimes the player won't know what is happening, how much time left for complete the disaster. How we are going to fix this? We are going to take advantage for this script also, for this trigger, sorry. And every time a player moves one block, we are going to show the player again on the disaster time, okay? So with that, you are going to add another one that says timer. You are going to select display timer plane, okay? And on there, you are going to select first one, disaster timer. Remember that we created that one yesterday, and remember that disaster timer is going to handle the time that left to create a new disaster, okay, guys? So we are going to use that one. We are going to show that to all the players, and very important, the disaster name is going to be this name, okay? Remember that we create that one also yesterday. There are 3 variables that we already create, and with that, every time the players move one block, it's going to show this to the system, is going to show this to all the other players. So we are always going to be sure that the system is going to show this screen to all the players, okay? So now we have already created the roof block. In this part, the only one that left to create is the disaster controllers. Very quick. And this is how our system is going to work. And this is very important to understand, guys, because with this you will be able to manage any disaster that you have on game. The system that we are going to create is the computer, is the motherboard, or all the main system that supports all the game, okay? What is going to do? And it's a little bit simple. We have a timer for this system, and the timer is going to come out every 30 seconds. The timer is the one that we see that is called disaster timer. And every 30 seconds, what the system is going to do is execute this, okay? Again, 30 seconds again, executes the system again. And this is going to happen over and over and over for all the game, okay? But most important, once the system detects that 30 seconds has been passed, it's going to execute this, and this is going to do the next thing. Okay, it's going to give a random number because each disaster, as I mentioned before, has a number, okay? So the only thing that this system does is to create a random number, and then it's going to execute a group of triggers that is going to be called starters, okay, guys? So the starters, if you remember in the last class, we create the meteor starter and the meteor loop. Okay, the starters are the actual systems that detects if they are going to execute the disaster, and they are going to give the variables to create the disaster, okay? So, as an example, let me put an example here. So, if our game, after running the 30 seconds, is going to detect and create a random number, the number is going to be the number 3, okay? That's the number that our system creates. What it's going to do after that is going to run this, and it's going to start running the meteor starter. So when the system enters to the meteor starter, it's going to check the number, and it's going to compare the number 3 is equals to the number 1. No, so we are not going to execute this. Then it's going to execute the next one. The next one is the Volcano starter with the number 2. It's going to check this. The random disaster is equals to the disaster Volcano. No, because this one is 2 and this one is 3. So it's going to execute the next one, and it's going to detect that the number is the number 3. The number match, yes, this is the number 3. So it's going to continue, and it's going to execute this. This is going to set up the variables for creating the pledge. And when the pledge is created, what the pledge is going to do is execute the pledge loop, okay? And the pledge loop has also a trick, and is that it has a timer, okay? Each time, this is going to repeat itself every second until this pledge or this timer becomes 0. So that means if the number is more than 30, it's going to execute over and over. Once this number, the display number is 0, this is not going to execute anymore. And also, as this is actually synced with this, that means that the system is going to send another message, and it's going to create another number that will be any number between the numbers that we set up on here, okay? That's how the base of the system works. As you see, it's not that much complicated So how we are going to do to create this system? Let me switch to MiniWord, okay? Let's switch to MiniWord. So what you are going to do right now, okay? Now that we have all the other systems, what I need you to do is to create a new trigger. The name of the trigger, it's going to be Disaster Controller, okay? Disaster Controller, once more, is the one that is going to control everything, okay? You are going to create it in the basic systems, but I already have it created here. So I'm going to tell you and show you how it works, guys, okay? First thing, you are going to add a new event. The event is going to be in game logic, and remember, it's going to be designated timer change. Not timer change, just the designate timer change. That is going to be the first one. When you add it, you are going to see this interview, and you are going to select on here this timer, okay, guys? This timer, remember, is the one that controls the time for the next disaster. So it stands for disaster timer, is an abbreviation of disaster timer, okay? Now, what you are going to do second is to check the amount of time that's left for the disaster timer. So you are going to select as a condition, you are going to select math and numerical comparison. Once you select numerical comparison, you are going to select disaster timer. Okay, in timer time, forget this, you need to go to function library, timer time, and on timer time you are going to select once more the variable that is disaster timer, and the time needs to be equals to 0. Otherwise, it's going to give you some errors. Okay, so be sure that here says equals to 0. Okay, so what we are going to do here is something tricky, guys. Okay, so first you are going to add a new action. You are going to set time and you are going to run down countdown timer. Okay, and very important, guys, on here you are going to place a disaster time, but most important here, and big head ups here, we are going to do some trick here. Okay, on here we want not to keep a specific time because we are going to do a disaster time. So we will be able to reduce the amount of time that takes in between each disaster with buying some items. So you will have more than one disaster at the time. Players will be able to get that item to get more disasters. Okay, so how you are going to do that? Okay, for this, before setting up everything here, you're going to close that and you are going to access to variable library and you are going to create a new variable. Okay, the variable, it's going to be a variable that is going to be a value variable and the name is going to be disasters max. Okay, or this max. Okay, this is going to tell the game how many disasters we are going to have at the same time. Alright, so very important, I already have it created here, but very important, you need to place a default value to this one. Okay, you are going to place the number 1 at the beginning. Okay guys, very important, number 1 at the beginning. You need to be sure that when you create a variable, the number 1 is the default value. Why? Because we are going to start having one disaster at a time. If you place a 0 here, you are going to get errors because there is not going to be disasters. Okay, now you are going to come back to the action that we just created, and on here you are going to do a numeric calculation. So the numeric calculation is going to be in function library and it's going to be numeric calculation in math. Okay, once you select math, it's going to give you something similar to this. In the first part, you are going to put 30, that's going to be 30 seconds, and you are going to divide it into the variable that we just create, that is ticks max. Okay, that means that the 30 seconds are going to be divided in the amount of disasters that we are going to have at the same time. And please close that. Okay, once you have it completely closed, another important that you are going to do, because we are going to play with the weather, is that you are going to add another action that says change weather, and you are going to change the weather to sunny. Okay guys, because some specific disasters like the thunderstorm or the acid rain are going to change the weather. Okay, now very important guys, we are also going to play a sound for the players. Okay, I'm going to stop the music 1 second because I want you to hear this very quickly. Okay, and now I place this sound and it's repeated for all the players. Okay, why for all the players? Because all the players are going to hear it very loud. So for this, you need to hit player group. You need to hit sounds, and on here you are going to have an option that says turn on effects on player group. Okay, not the one that says player, just the one that says player group. And under you are going to play any sound that you want, but the important thing is that you are going to play 200 of volume. Okay, once more to hear the sound that is going to alert the players. You can use whatever sound. I choose that one, that is skill 33, but you can use any sound to alert the players and let them know that actually that is happening. Okay, playing the music again. I know that you really like the music, and we are going to have another action, guys. Okay, so on here we have 2 ways to do it. All right, so if you don't want to overcomplicate yourself, we can do it with a specific number, and is to set up the disaster to a random number. And how do you do that? You act an action, you are going to select assigned, and you are going to select value setup, okay guys? Value setup, it's going to tell you which number. On the first one, you are going to select disaster, guys, okay? Remember that we already created that variable, and that is going to tell the game which disaster is going to happen. And you set up this in function library in math to a random number. And very important, guys, every time that you add a disaster, you need to change this. You are going to generate a number in between 1 and the max amount of disasters that you are going to have on the screen. So let me show you an example. On here, you have your table, okay? So if you have 1 disaster, you are going to place from 1 to 1. If you have 2 disasters, from 1 to 2. Right now, in our game, we only have been implemented 1 that is the meteor shower. So here the number needs to be 1. Okay? So that's very important, guys. And when you add more disasters, and if that is going to be covered by those disasters, you need to change that variable in game, okay? So let me switch to MiniWord again. All right, guys. And here, okay? So we have from 1 to 8, okay? In this case, all right? But this is going to give you a small problem, guys. And the problem that is something that sometimes is a little bit upset for players is that the disasters may repeat itself. What does it mean? It means that your disaster probably is going to execute over and over, okay? Why? Because probably after 2 times you are going to have the same number. As an example, the number is going to be 3 and the number 3 is your fire. So you're going to have 3 or 4 rounds with fire, and sometimes with a disaster like a quake or like the tornado, it's going to be upset for the players. So if you want to correct that, MiniWord cannot do that, but I create an extra script that help you out. And that script is inside the script that we imported yesterday, that was the survival disaster controller. The only thing that you need to do it is to call it from here to execute it from triggers. And I'm going to teach you how you can execute scripts from triggers very easily. Okay, guys? So remember, the first one, it was going to work, but the ones that I'm going to teach you now, you can add it if you want to have a more specific thing, and is that the disasters are not going to repeat itself, okay? So for this, if you want to use the second option, you are going to select on here, add a new action, and you are going to select a script and execute a script, okay? Guys, remember, very important, if you are going to use the scramble one, that is going to be the one that I'm going to teach you that doesn't repeat the disasters, you need to deactivate the other one, okay? And once you do that, what you are going to do is that you are going to see something similar to this. You are going to click on name it script, and you are going to have a blank screen like this one, okay, guys? Let me create here so you will be able to see a little bit better, because this has a better like size. Okay, so once you see that, or you see any other thing, you are going to delete everything inside, and you are going to copy and paste this one like it is, okay? So what you are going to do is you are going to text on here a scramble. You are going to put then these specific symbols at the sides, then the 2 notation marks, and you are going to get the name of your variable, okay? So once again, doing it from 0 is going to be a scramble. You open parentheses and close parentheses. Inside the parentheses, you open notation marks. And inside the notation marks, you are going to type exactly, but it needs to be exactly the same name that you place to the disaster variable. In my case, it's going to be called disaster, okay? Because I place that name for the disaster. Remember, it's the variable that measures which disaster is happening in the screen right now. You are going to use a comma, and then you are going to place 2 numbers, the minimum number and the max number of your disaster, just like we did with the random number, okay? So if in my case, in the main game, I have 8 disasters, but for this game, probably we are implementing just now 1 disaster, so it's going to be 1,1. Imagine that you implement then the volcanic eruption, so it's going to be 1,2. And on here you put the max amount of disasters that you have, okay? Very important, guys. You can see here, I left here the numbers is, or how it works is your variable name in notation marks, then the number 1 and then the number 2, okay? You will be able to use this scramble function if even you are not in the map, because I place it into the script that you have already. So whenever you want to get a random number that doesn't repeat itself with the already existing number, you use the same number, okay? Once you save that, it's going to be here. And once more, if you save here and you get an error, probably you are writing something wrong. As an example, if you are getting something like this, it's going to give you an error, so you have to retype everything, okay, when you get that. And remember, every time that we are going to add a new disaster, you need to change this, or you need to change the other one, okay, because the disasters are going to change. Okay, whatever you use, the first one or the second one, it's up on you. All right, guys. Now, on here, on my system, I have another cool thing, and is that I will be able to give a reward to all the players, guys, okay? So you are going to do the same thing, guys, if you want to give a reward each round to all the players. And what you have to do is, once again add another script from here. For this, you are going to hit on script, execute the script, okay? And when you complete that, you are going to have that screen, okay? Once more, you are going to delete everything that is on there. And on there, you are going to write a different thing this time, okay? So in the screen, you are seeing what I have to write. I also going to put it into the comments, just in case you want to copy. And this is the main layout that you are going to follow, guys, okay? So you are going to write down, but you need to keep like the same orthography, the same letters in uppercase and lowercase. You are going to place player, points, reward, all. Okay, guys? Very important, guys. Notice that the only uppercases here, it's the first letter of each one of the words that are together, that are like stick together. And once you have this, you have to follow the next steps. So this is very similar to triggers, actually. In the top, you are going to see this. You are going to see that there are some words and they are separated by a comma. So these are going to be the different arguments that you are going to place in any script. The first one says coins. That's the amount of coins that you are going to give to the player for each round. As an example, if you place a 2 on here, that means that each player for each round is going to receive 2 coins, okay? Now, for the second one, the one that says points, is how many points the team is going to receive for each round. Remember that always is going to be 1, because each round the player is going to get a point, okay? Because it survives to an extra round. The third one, and this is the most tricky one, it's saying text, okay? So guys, remember, in triggers, every text, always, in a script, has to be in between notation marks. So always, if you are in scripts, and you are going to see 2 notation marks, that means that the things that go inside the notation marks is going to be a trigger, actually. I'm going to reduce the music a little bit. All right. Now, on here, you are going to place the text that the players are going to receive when they pass the round. So, round completed. Okay. It's going to be okay. And finally, the last comma, it's going to be the amount of time that the players are going to have from protection. So if you see when a player got killed or you pass the round, you are going to give a protection to the players. On here, I'm just going to give 1 second, okay, or 0 seconds. If you play 0 or -1 or any other number, the system is going to detect that you are not going to give any protection. So that's the only thing that you need to place in triggers. Once more, in scripts, once more. Player points reward all, the first letters with uppercase, the others with lowercase, the numbers of coins, comma, the numbers of points, comma, the text inside the notation marks, comma, and the protection. Okay, so that's actually exactly what I put here. Okay, and you are going to save it. Remember, this is only if you want the players to have a reward each round. Okay, and that's it. We finish almost this specific script, this specific trigger. But there's something extra important that you need to know, and is this disaster controller, after running these conditions that we placed before, it's going to execute all the different actions that you have in the screen. Okay, guys, so let me switch to the presentation once more. So remember, in this one, remember that we have like the different starters. This trigger is going to execute one by one all the different starters that you have here. And that's very important. So after we put that, you are going to operate all these triggers by checking the conditions. As you see, I have a lot of different disasters here. We are going to do the same. But for now, we are just going to add the meteor one. That is the one that we create on the first class. So you are going to go here. You are going to select trigger, operate trigger. Okay. And when it gets you operate trigger, you are going to select meteor start. Okay, guys. Remember, we have a folder for all the starters. You are going to select meteor starts. And very important, guys, be sure that is the start, not the one that says exe or that says loop. Okay. Once we finish that, we will be ready to go. Okay. So in this time, as you see before, as we only have one disaster, the disaster that is going to execute is going to be the meteor rain. Okay. Okay. And in MiniWorld, you're supposed to be already creating your volcano. Remember that I'm using a volcano because all my map is related to an island, but you can use whatever you want. And so remember that in a class we create a volcano, and the volcano is supposed to have this area and the lava is supposed to be up until the top up here. Well, if you see right here, and I get into the lava, all inside the volcano is lava. And there is an important reason for this, okay, guys? And is that we are going to make this look like the volcano is split in lava and that the lava is falling around this area. So first thing first, you need to create a new area. Okay, the area needs to be inside the volcano. Okay, and you are going to do the next thing. You are going to keep at least one from the border of the lava. You are going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks back or 5 blocks down, and you are going to left 2 blocks up for this area. Okay, so for those that don't know how to create area, you are going to hit on here tool mode, and then you are going to select the number 1. It's going to allow you to choose 1 point. In the 1 point, you select 2 blocks over the lava, and then you go to the other corner and you are going to select at least another 5 blocks under the lava. Okay, that's the first thing that we are going to create. The second one that we are going to create is a projectile. Okay, guys, so for creating a projectile, once more, you are going to access to the plugin editor in game or outside the game, it doesn't matter. You are going to go to props and you are going to create a new projectile. Okay, guys, so how it's going to work, this projectile, it's just going to be the same as all the others, but is going to launch, instead of launching like meteors or things like that, it's going to launch lava. Okay, so how you are going to create this, you are going to hit on here. Okay, it's taking a little bit long of time. All right, so you are going to hit on new, you are going to hit on create. Okay, you are going to add a new one, and on the new one you are going to select this time ammo or projectile, okay? And under you are going to place the name, okay? As an example, volcanic eruption, okay? Guys, very important, select a model. For this one, I download the model from internet, from the mini resource center, okay? Then you can use whatever model you want. My recommendation is needs to be big, first part. And second part, try to give some orange color and red color. I already have this one. If you want to download the same effect I have here, let me check inside the game which one is this this model, so you will be able to actually get the same model, okay? Because it looks very cool. I'm not going to lie to you guys. So let me check main library, current map on main library. Okay, so the UID for this lava model, it's going to be 2769. Oh, okay, no, that's mine. My UID. I think I modified this one, so let me search for the original one. Here, import, and is around here. Okay, so now I got the UID. It's 11 19 90 9331. Okay, guys, so you can search that on the resource center. Okay, so if you want to get the same model, so you don't have to create it from zero, you go here to resource. Then on here you are going to tap here, and you are going to put the UID that I just give you into the comments. And you are going to be Otaku Pugao. And on here you are going to see that it has a skin pack that is called Esfera de Poderes. And yeah, that's it. And you download it and you can use that model. Okay, guys? So we got our two things first, okay? Now, for the lava steel, or the lava, you are going to do the next attributes. And very important, guys, those are going to be the attributes to be sure that your volcano is working fine, okay? First, you are going to set up the throwable option. It needs to be on. It doesn't matter the charge time or anything like that. The projectile attack is going to be 15. Attack type is going to be single shot. But the most important things on here are going to be the next one. Sorry, the gravity is going to be 10. That means the man gravity, because we are going to make this circle. Okay, the speed needs to be 300. And very important, guys, on here you need to hit creatures and blocks. So with that, we are going to be sure that is going to affect also creatures and also blocks. Okay, recyclable needs to be off, okay, and all the others needs to be off. And now for the skills, you are going to add 3 skills, okay? The first one, you hit add, and you are going to select this one that says operating blocks. Okay, on operating blocks, you are going to hit replace, and you are going to select the lava here, okay? So the lava is on in liquid blocks, okay, natural blocks, sorry. And it's going to be the third one, okay? On target, we are going to hit all blocks. In a range, we are going to select area, and we are going to select the next area. Width is going to be 2, length is going to be 2, and health is going to be 1, okay? That's going to be the first skill. That's going to create the lava in the floor. Now, another important thing is that if this hits a player, we need to also add another buff, because MiniWorld is not going to create a lava when it hits a player. That's some error that MiniWorld does, so we need to correct that. For this, you are going to add another skill. This time it's going to be this one that says buff up, and the buff up is going to have the next setup. You are going to catch on fire, select the number 3. You are going to give 5 seconds or more seconds of duration here, okay? Now you are going to select the damage type as meal. The target team is going to be unlimited, okay, guys? And the area it's going to be, let me increase the music a little bit. All right, so the target team is going to be unlimited. In the area, it's going to be 3, 3, and 3, okay? Select range area and 3 and 3 and 3. Okay, that means that if he's going to hit a player, also he's going to try to spread the fire in the players that are around him. And finally, you can add a knock-up. This is optional. The knock-up is just here. Add a new skill and put knock-up. And what it's going to do is to move the players 2 blocks back and 2 blocks up. And that's it, in an area of 3 of 3 of 3, okay? That's all the setup for our lava still. With this, we have the lava. Now we can start coding our volcano, okay? Yeah, we already have all the requirements. As you see, guys, it's not that difficult. It's not that hard. So what we are going to do first, you are going to go here again to developer tools, and in your folder, the folder that says starters, you are going to create a new disaster, okay? A new trigger. Very important, you are going to put it on there. I'm going to put it just here, but remember, you are going to put it in the folder that says starters, okay? You are going to change the name, and you are going to put here Volcano starter. Okay? Guys, in Volcano starter, we are going to put a condition here. Okay? The condition, it's going to be a mathematical and numerical comparison, and you are going to select disaster equals to the number 2. Okay, guys? So remember that our first disaster was the meteor. The second one is going to be this one. So this is going to be the disaster number 2. Okay, guys? Once we select the disaster number 2, you are going to start creating your actions, okay? So let me switch here to the volcano. I already have it created here. Of course, over here I have a different number. You are going to put just the number 2. Okay? And on here, we are going to start, as always, by operating a timer, okay? Something that you can do if you want to save some time is just copy and paste the meteor starter that we made before. Remember, it's going to have just the same information. So what you can do is just to copy and paste it if you don't want to spend a lot of time, and you change the name for Volcano starter, okay? It's going to be much faster, okay? So actually do that. But remember that this one is going to be in the folder that says starters, okay? Volcano start. All right, so the disaster number, once more, in your case, is going to be 2. So with this, you only need to modify the information, okay? So we start with operating timer that you already have it. Once more, you are going to change that. You are going to change the variable, and you are going to create a new one. As we have disaster meteor, we also are going to create very similar. We are going to create this volcano, okay, on here. So just add a new variable, and it's going to be this volcano. The cooldown is going to be 30 seconds. It's the same. On here, the second option says the disaster name. On here, you are going to change that, okay? Guys, and the name is going to be, of course, volcanic. Or volcano, okay? Or volcanic eruption, whatever you want to give, it's okay. Okay? Disaster name, volcano. And here, once more, you give you modify the previous one, and you display a chat to all the players that says the name of the disaster. That's going to be in the chat. Then you add a separator and the description for the disaster. And finally, we have to show at the screen. You are going to keep it like it is, okay? Because it works automatically here, okay? You don't have to do anything else. As you see, we only modified the text and the name of the disaster, also the timer and the time, okay? So with that, our volcano start is going to work. Now you need to create the actual disaster loop, okay? For this, you can also use the same one that we use for meteor. It's very similar, okay? So what you are going to do is just to do the same thing, okay? You are going to go ahead with the one that says meteor exe or meteor loop. You are going to copy and paste it, okay? But this time you are going to have something different, guys. Okay, so when you get copy that, you are going to delete one of the options. Okay, guys, so when you copy that, you have the second condition that says random number less than equal to 80. You are going to delete that one, and you are going to start changing the information. Okay, so when it says the timer, you are going to change the timer from this meteor to this volcano. Okay, then you are going to change here where it says timer time. You are going to expand, and then you are going to change this meteor for this volcano, guys. Okay, and it's going to be the same, greater than 0. In this time, you are going to have also the same screen where it's going to show you the different projectiles. You are going to choose, instead of the meteor, the one that you just created, that is your lava steel. Okay, and now remember that we have also the same here, but we got the sky here, so we are going to change the name of the areas. Okay, so remember the area that we just created inside the volcano. We are going to select in the first one random point or random location in the area, and we are going to choose the volcano. That is the one that inside the volcano. And this time on here you have floor. Instead of floor, you are going to choose a sky. Okay, so what it's going to do is that actually this is going to shoot the projectiles from here to any point in the sky. Okay, instead of pointing to the floor, it's going to point to any part on the sky. So as an example, it's going to be this area. So it's going to try to hit this area, but the gravity is going to pull down the projectile and it's going to fall around this area. Also, the other trick is that most of the area that we are going to use the projectiles to spawn for is inside the floor. What this is going to do is to spawn the projectiles and are going to hit with the walls of the volcano, and that specific area is going to become actual lava. So it's going to look like the volcano also is expulsing lava to this specific location. Okay, now we end the first part. The second part is going to be easier. The only thing that you have to do is to copy that specific one that we just changed. You are going to copy and you are going to paste it inside this same script once more, and you are going to paste it a lot of times. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. I put 10 times. Okay, so that means that each second is going to spawn 10 projectiles. That means that is going to create the effect that there are a lot of projectiles spawning from the volcano. Okay, guys, and that's it. With that, you have your volcano working. Very important, guys, and very important here. If you want to add a sound, just hit on here. Okay, you are going to go to sounds, turn on sounds on player group, and on there you are going to place any sound for all the players or for random player. Okay, it's okay. And the sound is going to be whatever sound you select. As an example, like select this one. You see? And that's the sound that the volcano is going to start creating each time that it makes an explosion. Okay? So that's the only thing that you add at the end. Once more, you change the information, you change the locations for the volcano and the sky, and the missile for the projectile for the lava steel or the lava missile. And you copy and paste 10 times that, and then you add another sound. And that's it. Our volcano is already working. Now, very important, guys, and don't miss this part. Remember that the volcano is working, but it's not being executed by the system. How we are going to do to make the system works with the volcano. All right, remember that we have here the operate trigger that says operate meteor star check conditions is true. Well, we are going to add another one once more. We are going to select trigger again, and we are going to operate the trigger, and the trigger is going to be this time the one that says starter. So we are going to look for the volcano start, and we are going to check the conditions true. Very important, guys. Whenever you add a condition to the disaster controller, another disaster needs to be with conditions on. Otherwise, it's going to give you errors. And that's it. Now you have the two disasters. But who can tell me what is left here, okay? So what is left here is that we have the disasters added, but remember that we have this that says disaster from 1, okay? This time we need to change this because we have to give the number here. So the system is going to detect a random number between the disaster, the minimum amount of disaster or the max amount of disaster. In this case, we already have 2 disasters, okay? So if you create the disaster and you follow the disaster options directly with triggers, we're not messing with the script, you have to change the random number from 1 to the number 2 because we have this time 2 disasters. Now, if you follow the instructions by creating the script, remember that also we have that option that I showed you some minutes ago, the scramble one. To avoid to repeat it, you need to change the last number, okay? So we originally got something like this. Let me show you here. Okay, so we are going to change this for the number 2, okay? So in here, probably you will have in this, as we are at a new disaster, we are going to change for the number 2. Okay, guys, so remember last number 2, and you are going to save it, okay? Remember, once more, if you are using the disaster controlled by the script, you don't need to activate the number. And vice versa, if you are using the number, you don't need to activate the script, okay? In my case, I use this one because it's more advanced. Now we have our disaster related with the volcano eruption. Now we are going to continue and we are going to do a fire, okay guys? The fire is also, well guys, now enough time, let's continue with the class. I see that you also like the banana. Very good. Alright guys, continuing with the class, we already have the meteor. Now we are going to do the fire. And the fire is it's almost the same that the 2 that we made. The difference with the fire is that the fire, okay, that the fire is going to shoot the projectile, but it's going to do it in another part, okay? I see you love the apples. That's something that I really like. I really love the green apples. I don't know the real name. I think it's the crunchy orange, crunchy apples. But well, guys, for the fire is almost the same, okay, guys? As you see, those disasters are very easy to make. It doesn't take that much time to create it. And for the fire, you are going to create another area, guys. It's the same 64 by 64 area. But this time, the area that you are going to create, just like the floor or the sky one, it's going to be 64 by 64 from corner to corner. But you are going to start with the area at the same height of your floor. And the max height for this area is going to be the top of your floor without the volcano. What does it mean? That I advise you to take at max 3 different heights. So you are going to get the max height of your scenario. That is going to be this one in my case. And you are going to create the area from the minimum height to the maximum height. Okay, guys? And what you are going to do then? Alright, so we are going to do the same as we did before. We are going to copy the meteor star, okay? And once more, you are going to change the information. That is very important, guys. You are going to copy and change the name. You are going to change it from a meteor when you copy. Of course, let me do the process here. You are going to copy and start it. And you are going to have meteor start. Well, what you are going to do is you are going to change it once more for fire start, okay? When you got fire start, what you are going to do is that you are going to just change the information, guys, okay? Of course, I already have it here, so I'm going to delete it because I already have it created. But remember, this one also goes in your starter folder. Hi, welcome PPPDFP2313. Okay, So we are doing the fire right now. Okay, all right. So now what we are going to do on this one, you are going to change the numerical comparison. So disasters are going to be this time equals to the number 3. I know that I have it here as 2, but you are going to change it to the number 3, guys. Remember, meteor number 1, volcano number 2, and disaster fire is going to be the number 3. Okay, guys? So disaster fire, once more, you are going to change the information. This time you are going to create another variable that is going to be this fire, okay? This is going to count the time for fire. You are going to count 30 seconds. On this name, you are going to change it to fired, and all the other information, you are going to change it to fired, okay? So the description, when the chat is going to be fired, the separator is going to be the same one, and the content is going to be avoid to burn it alive, okay? Now, this one, the one that shows this timer, is going to be just the same, but also you can add a sound on here, okay? It's okay, you really don't need it. Actually, it's okay if we delete this. As you see, most of the disaster starters is going to be the same. It's just copy and paste and change the information. Now, for the fire, you are going to copy again the one that is the meteor, okay? You are going to copy in disasters, not in starters, the meteor exe or the meteor loop. And you are going to change the information. Once more, you are going to change the event. You are going to put when this fire instead of this meteor changes. Then you are going to select here this fire in the numerical comparison instead of this meteor. Remember that it's greater than 0, and in the number you are going to keep it at as 80% too, okay? Now, once more, we have this infamous trigger that is going to spawn or to launch a projectile, okay, guys? So on here, once more, we will need to create a projectile, okay? So once more, you are going to go to props, you are going to create a new one from 0, just like we did with the meteor and the volcano. You are going to create a new one. You are going to put on here ammo or explosion or explosive, okay? And this is going to be an ultimate trick that you are going to learn, guys. So welcome from Thailand. How are you guys? Oh, thank you, thank you. I see that Madam Queen is sending a lot of people. Thank you for that. Okay, welcome Zelopir, welcome Saddle, welcome Gino, welcome a lot of you guys that I see are coming here. Welcome Kat. Alright, so guys, let me show you this trick, okay? So if you notice, when I played with the fire, you are not going to see any projectile. It's going to look like the fire is spreading around by itself. But that is not true. What actually is happening here is that I'm creating a projectile that is completely invisible. That means that you won't be able to see it. And that is a trick that you have to learn. Remember that in some class I teach you how to do me skills. This is going to be the same. It's going to be a do me item, okay? It's something that you are not going to notice. So how do you create an invisible model, okay? So you are going to use this block, the model block, okay? You are going to open the model block and you are going to create a custom model. All right, when you create a custom model, you are just going to create literally something here that says origin. All right, and you are going to have this, okay, guys? Very important, as we are going to create a projectile, reduce this and put it in 0. When you put this height, the Y value here, on 0, it means that it's going to be at the same height that the floor, okay? Now that you have this, you are going to hit here, and you are going to hit in height. And that's it. That is not that much complicated. What you are going to do is to hit on here, and you are create a new prop that says invisible model projectile, okay? and you are going to hit confirm. Of course, I'm not going to do it because I already have it created. Once you have that model created, you are going to continue with your prop. So when it gets on fire start, you are going to change the model, okay, for the invisible model that you just created. I already have it here. As you see, I put it as do me number 1, but you are going to do that, okay, guys? Now, for the fire starter, of course, you are going to change the name so you will know what it does. So welcome, guys, welcome to the class. And what you are going to do here on attribute is that you are going to change the setups here, okay? In attribute, first, you are going to change the max numbers for the stack. You are going to keep it in 64. You are going to change throwable to oft. And the projectile attack needs to be completely in 0. Single shot, gravity needs to be high. And let me explain why. Because the trick about the fire to avoid to be seen is that it's going to be very fast. And also that is going to fall immediately. So the speed, you are going to place it in initial speed at max amount. Probably you're not going to have 200 because I modify that, but just put the max amount here, okay? Don't overcomplicate. For those that already know how to modify files, just change the speed by opening the game files to 200 or 2000, the max amount of the speed that you can. 2000 is going to work fine. Okay, on here, creatures and blocks and trigger delay, everything else you are going to keep it like it is. So now you are going to add new skills. The first one is going to be to place blocks. You are going to edit those and you are going to select effect type, place, and you are going to select the fire. Where you can find the fire, it's in natural blocks and you need to scroll down and you are going to find the fire here, okay? In the target, you are not keep any target. In area, you are going to select 2 of length, or actually this is wrong. We are going to select 3, 3, 3, 3, okay? All of them is going to be 3. And once more, as MiniWork doesn't detect if the player gets hit, it doesn't work with the floor. We are going to burn the player that gets hit by the projectile. So you are going to add another skill. The skill is going to be buff up. It's almost just the same as the lava. We are going to set up the buff as a fire buff. We are going to set up the duration to 3 seconds. On here, we are going to select meal damage, target team unlimited, and the area is going to be 2 for 2 for 2 for 2 blocks, okay? And that's it. You are going to save that projectile. You are going to add it into the game. And once you add it into the game, you are going to go back to the Meteor script, remember, and you are going to change the information once more. So you are going to select template library. You are going to select the invisible model that you made. So the fire starter is going to be the first one. In the location, this time the location is going to change, guys. So remember the location that we create over the floor, that's going to be the location that is going to be fired. And it's going to be launched to floor number 2, random point as always. And you are going to do the same with that with the volcano, but with less blocks. And this time I got 3, 3, 6 times copy that. So just copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. And that's it for the fire. Let me show you here. If I got the thunder here and I got the fire started. So you are not going to see my projectile, but if I launch this projectile here as an example, it's going to start a fire. Oh well, of course I cannot drop it and I'm going to take this because I put that it's not going to be throwable, but what it's going to do is just when it hits the floor, it's going to start burning everything. Okay, guys? Last thing, okay, I see that there is a lot of people that is coming from Thailand. So welcome, guys. Welcome to the class. Welcome Asafan. Welcome Shindinani. Okay, guys. So very important, guys. Here we have again, we have the fire, okay? What we left now, we need to add this fire, the starter, we need to add it to the controller. Okay, guys, so you are going to move back to the controller as always, to disaster controllers, and you are going to add a new one. You are going to select trigger, operate trigger, and in operate trigger, once more, you are going to select here, fire start, and the condition needs to be on. And most important, guys, this part is already executing, but we left, remember that we left also to add this to the random numbers. So you are going to scroll up a little bit, and if once more you select the disaster as the normal option by setting up by triggers, sorry, you are going to expand that and you are going to change that. Now we have 3 disasters, so we have to change the number here from 1 to 3 disasters, okay? Now, if you use the other method, that is the one with the scramble script, you will need to access here and you will need to change the number at the end from 2 to number 3. And that's it. Okay, guys? So remember that, and remember with that your trigger is going to be executed. So right now we have the fire, the meteor, and also we have the volcano. Now I'm going to teach you something a little bit different. Now we are going to move to the pledge, okay? So once more for the pledge, you are going to copy and paste the meteor starter, guys. Just copy and paste, change the name, and this time you are going to change the disaster for the disaster number 4, guys, okay? Remember, disaster number 4 is going to be the pledge. Alright, so now that you have changed this part, we are going to create once more. Again, we are going to change the timer for a new timer, and this time I got it as this virus, because at the beginning I was naming that as a virus, but you can change it for pledge or virus. Is going to be okay? Once more, we keep it like it is, 30 seconds, we only changing the variables. Now this name this time is going to be pledge or virus, okay? Once more, we change the information by the pledge and the description. And this time we are going to do a couple of different things. So let me rearrange this. It's not going to be confused for you. Okay, on here we're going to keep it like it is. But we are going to add some specific things, guys, okay? So first, we are going to assign a new variable. So you are going to add a new variable, assigned, and the variable is going to be a player variable, okay? A player setup. All right, so the name of the variable, it could be virus player or it could be pledge player, okay? And what you are going to do is you are going to select function library, player group, and this time you are going to select random player in a player set, okay, guys? And the player set is going to be player group, all players in team, and we are going to select the team 1, okay? Why the team 1, guys? Because remember, in the game, the team 1 is the team that actually is working or is playing. The team number 2 is the team that is already died. So we don't want to spread the virus on the observers. We want to split the virus into the players, okay? Truly sorry for that, guys. I think I need to eat a little bit of water. Okay, so I will answer that later at the end of the class, don't worry. Okay, so now that you have the virus, we need to create a new effect, okay, a new buff. So you are going to go to status and you are going to create a new status, okay? From 0, the name can be virus or pledge, okay? The description is you are infected. You are going to lose life over time. Okay? So now that you have a life over time, you are going to select an icon here. And you can select whatever icon you wanted. In my case, sorry guys, I select this one that is going to look like something that is infected, but you can use whatever icon you want it. Now, very important for the effect, select this one, okay? This is going to look like a virus, or You can have a lot of options here. Select one that looks like the player is sick or passionate, and the sound. I use a sound that looks like if the player was like making like something similar. On here you can find a lot of sounds in Attack It that you can use. Okay, but most important one, guys, for the effect we are going to do the next thing. Okay, for the effect you are going to select to add first a new effect. It's going to be this, keep getting endurance, and the addition is going to be damage time time overall is going to be 0.8 seconds, and the value is going to be 1. That means that it's going to receive 1 of damage each very 0.8 seconds. And the kind of damage is going to be toxic. And why not the other damage? Because Fixed is going to ignore the armor, and others like fire are going to increase the damage. Okay, so as this is going to be something like toxic, we are going to use that one. Okay, now we are going to reduce also the speed of the player. So just hit here and hit on here where it says change speed. Remember that player speed in Miniverse has different speed. It has the running speed, the walking speed, and swimming speed and sneaking speed. So we are going to change the running and also the walking speed. We are going to reduce 15% that one. So just select here the speed. Remember, first basic, then you are going to add the running and just move this slider until you get 15 on here, minus 15, sorry. And then we are going to change the mode, okay? Alright, so now on the mode you are going to change the mode to Molten Gigant. That is going to be this one or whatever you want it. I use this one because it looks like a sick person. You can use whatever model you want it. Now on attribute, very important, the only thing that you need to change is negative status, and all the other things you are going to keep it like it is. Also very important, guys, on Molten Gigant, keep all the different switchers off. We don't want to player go in third camera or something similar. Now, you already create that. What we are going to do here is to just add that effect, okay? So remember, we set up Virus Player to Random Player. So you are going to select on here, Variable Library, and select Virus Player or Pledge Player. We are going to select the buff here. Remember, if you are inside the game and you are not seeing the status that you just created, is because you need to add it into the game and restart the game, okay? Once you restart the game, you will be able to see it. You are going to put Remind False, and you are going to keep it for 30 seconds, okay? Now, on here, apart from that, you are going to just play an effect on the player if you want it. Remember, you can use Virus Player. So, as an example, and let me stop the music a little, 1 second. This is the sound that I place. It's attack at number 3 for the player when the player gets sick. Okay, so all the players know that there is an infection. And then you add a special effect to the player, and you are going to place it to the virus player. I apply a light effect number 35 that will create a big amount of energy over the players, so the other players will know this from different areas, and this is this one. Okay, guys, you can use the same one or you can use a different one. That's on you. And that's it. Another cool thing that I do is to show to the player a text message. Remember, for adding the text message or the message in the front, the floating message, you select player and display text to player that says you are infected. Okay, guys, that's the only thing for the pledge. Now let's do the other two operators. So in disasters, you are going to copy the one that says Meteor. You are going to change the name and you are going to place pledge number 1. Okay, guys, or virus number 1, because this is going to have two different. You are going to delete the event, and in the event you are going to add player moving. Okay, guys, why player moving? Because we are going to detect this when the player moves. On timer time, we are going to change that from this virus or this pledge, whatever you put on there, and it's the same condition that the meteor does. Okay, we are going to change the second one, the one that says a random number less or equal to 50. We are going to 80. We are going to change to 50. Okay. And more important, you are going to add a completely new condition that is going to be player determine status. And the status of the player is going to be pledge infection. Okay. So players in trigger event, yes. And you are going to select the status that you just created that is going to be pledge infection. That is going to be this one, okay? That are going to be the conditions. And the actions, you are going to delete all the actions for Meteor, and you are going to add a new one, okay? The new one is going to be to create a creature, okay? And the creature is going to be a virus, okay, guys? This one I'm going to teach you how to create it. But the location is going to be on the player location. Remember, select on here, function library, location offset. You are going to get this new interface. You are going to select in location. When you get that one, player location. So function, player location, and players in trigger event. And you are going to do the next thing. In the first step, you are going to add function library, mat random number. And the random number is going to be in between -3 and -3 and 3, okay, guys? So that's going to create in random position around the player. The health is going to be 0, and the other one, the last one, is going to be the same one, -3 to 3, okay? And very important, guys, this needs to belong to no team, okay? Otherwise, as an example, the player 1 is not going to be affected, all right? Then, how you are going to create the virus, guys. For the virus, just create here. Again, go to creature. You are going to add a new creature, guys. Okay, the new creature, it's going to be whatever creature you wanted. The important things, you have to change here the name, of course. It all needs to be hidden. You are not going to put the name showing. Okay, the model is going to be the model that you just created, the invisible model. Remember that we just create an invisible model? Well, you are going to select that one, okay? And the attributes are, okay, another important thing is reduce the size. The attribute needs to be creature type in animals, guys. And let me tell you why. This is a secret, but in MiniWord, when you put monsters and you spawn it by triggers or by scripts, the monster is going to disappear, guys, okay? Instead, if you place an animal, that monster is not going to disappear if you get too far away. Okay, so that's going to be the most important things about this creature. Okay, as you see, I have the same here. All right, on here, you change to animals. The health is going to be 1, the attack is going to be 1, the speed is going to be movable, but very slow. 10 is okay. And in battle, you are going to set up the attack range to 5 and the view field to 6. All right? No more things. This part that I put extra is not important. All right? And when you get that, you are going to add it into the game. You restart the game. Very important, guys. When I mean restart the game, don't restart MiniWord. Just restart the map. And now you are going to change this, the second option, for the virus, okay? You are going to select template library, and you are going to add your creature that is going to be the virus, okay? Once you add the virus and you have this part complete, you are going to create a second script, a second trigger, okay, guys? The second trigger, it's going to be named as a pledge 2, and it's also going to be in the disaster folder, all right? So you are going to add a new one. But this time, we are going to do a collision, okay, guys? In how it works, you are going to select players and collide, okay? You are going to search here for collision. And now in action, you are going to add a new one, okay? And we are going to select creature, guys, okay? And determine creature type. The creature type is going to be creature. The target creature in event, very important, guys. Probably you are going to be selected creature in event by default. You need to select target creature in event. And you have to put yes, and in template library, you need to search for your virus. So we are telling the game that the creature that collides with the player is the virus, okay? Then we are going to be sure that the player's team, the player that collide with this, is in the red team. Remember, we don't want the observers to become infected. So you are going to add a new one. You are going to select player, and you are going to select determine player team, okay, in conditions. And in players on team, you are going to select players in event, and the team is going to be the team 1. And finally, we are going to add another one that says player, determine player status, and we are going to put the plague infection for the players in event, but most important here, the player must not have the plague infection. This is going to avoid the player to become infected over and over if he's already infected, okay? And the execution for this is going to be very easy, guys. First, you are going to hit another one. You are going to select creature and defeat creature. Defeat creature is going to kill the virus. So as soon as the player touches the virus, it's going to disappear. Then we are going to add a new one that is going to be for player of dying effect. Okay. And the effect is going to be virus infection or player infection for 30 seconds. Okay. Remind needs to be off. Very important. And then we send a message to the player that says you are infected. Once more, for this, just add here a new action and then go player and then select display text to the player. And the player is going to be the player in the trigger. Okay. With this, we have already our virus. So our virus is going to spawn a sick player that is going to spread the pledge. And when the players hit the virus, are going to be infected. Okay. Another important thing, guys, as always, we add a new disaster. So you need to go back to basic systems. You need to go back to disaster controllers. And as always, when we add a new disaster, you are going to add a new here. You are going to select trigger and operate trigger. The operation for the trigger, it's going to be pledge or virus start, whatever you have, and check the conditions true. And then we also are going to add it as the random number. So once more, if you use the script, just edit the script, and in the number, as we now have 4 disasters, change the number here for the number 4. So remember, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. First, meteor. Second is going to be volcanic eruption. Third one is going to be fire. And now the pledge, okay? So that's for the script. If you are using instead the trigger, that I didn't advise you because it's going to repeat the events, just where it says random number, change the number 3 for the number 4 because we are having more disasters this time. And that's it. Right now, you already have 4 disasters working in your map. Okay, guys, so for the next class, we are going to learn another 3 disasters. So we are going to have a total amount of 7 disasters. And in the last class, we are going to learn 2 disasters modes. And finally, and at the end, we are going to learn how to submit your map into MiniWorld, and I'm going to answer some questions, okay? So that will be it for this class, guys. Thank you so much for assisting. Also for all the people that come from Indonesia, from Vietnam, from all our teachers. Thank you so much for assistance. I hope you will learn a lot with this one.
One MiniWorld, one creation dream.